episode 483 of Good Luck High Five.
That's right. You are listening to a podcast that's for you if you play Magic the Gathering. Whether you are heading home from your Streets of New Capenna Prerelease, because it just happened this past weekend.
And you're still driving back home.
It was a long trip for you. But you're going to get there. Or you're driving to Magic Arena to play an online pre-release this Thursday. And it's also a long trip for you, so you've already started driving
driving to the internet can be a long trip.
Exactly. We are here for you.
I'm one of your hosts, Maria.
I'm another one of your hosts, Meghan.
And on today's show, we are going to talk all about the Streets of New Capenna pre-release.
Yes.
I went to one this past weekend in person.
Woo!
IRL, as the kids say.
Yeah.
And it was so fun.
So exciting.
So fun to play this new set in paper for the first time. Did I remember what shuffling was? Moderately.
Yeah.
Did I use
to remember
mulligan rule incorrectly? Yes, I did.
You did?
Yeah, sure did.
Do you know what, Maria? I just like if you were like, Meghan, what's the mulligan rule? I'd be like, I don't know.
Arena does it for me.
Okay, wait. Now I remember. I remembered. It's okay. I remember.
I had reverted to the old one that we used
scry?
to do. Yeah.
Wow, which isn't even the original mulligan rule that we started playing Magic with.
My brain was kicking off the rust.
Yeah.
If you will.
I don't remember which one's London and which one's Vancouver, though.
London's the current one, isn't it?
I think so.
And Vancouver's the scry.
Is the scry mulligan?
Yeah. I think.
That sounds good to me.
Still waiting for the Brisbane mulligan.
Wow, Brisbane.
Calling it now.
What's going to be the Brisbane mulligan?
It's going to be where you take your 7 cards, and if you don't like them, you throw them in the trash. And
you just walk out of the event center.
Nobody likes it. It'll be only for one tournament.
And no one's going to attend. Everyone's like, no, I'm not about the mulligan rule.
Because I'm like, if you still keep playing, then you just have a straight up advantage because your deck is smaller.
Yeah. Okay. Hey.
Anyway, that's one of the things we're going to talk about.
Yes. Is the mulligan rule?
No, the Streets of New Capenna pre-release. It's coming out on Arena for everybody on Thursday.
But maybe you've already played it. I really, really hope so.
Yeah.
Because what a great thing to be playing Magic again at your local game store.
Truly.
We're also going to talk about another great way to play in person, which is Oathbreaker.
Yeah.
We're having Judge Rob back. What? Back-to-back episodes?
With Judge Rob?
What is
How lucky are you, listeners?
You're so lucky.
Yeah.
We're super excited to have him back here to talk about the very sweet format that is Oathbreaker.
Yeah.
You can check out, we even have a video on our channel of us playing it with Judge Rob and friend of the show, Sam Eilenfeld.
Yeah. If you haven't seen that video, it's so fun. Oathbreaker is a great format. Quick PSA about it. It's basically like faster Commander.
Yes.
So
in smaller decks. You don't have to worry about hundreds of cards.
Yeah, so it's we really like it, and there's some sweet new cards in Streets of New Capenna and Streets of New Capenna Commander that are going to be really fun to play in Oathbreaker. So we want to have Rob on to talk about what some of those cards are. Get your brains thinking about decks that you could brew up. We suggest that you try it. It's a really, really fun format, especially if you're a Commander grump like we are.
We're such grumps.
We're Commander grumps.
Okay, wait, but before we get going more into the show, because we really got going into the show for just a moment there. We have some people to thank. First and foremost amongst them are you, the listeners and patrons of this show.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yes.
If you can, please take a moment to go to patreon.com/GLHF Magic to become a patron. It just takes a second and it helps support the show, keeps it coming out. You know, we've been on the air for like more than a decade at this point.
It's coming up on 10 years.
Coming up on 10 years this fall.
This fall.
The reason we can do it is because of everybody who supported us all over the years. And if you've never supported us, now is the perfect time to get in there and become a member of the Good Luck High Five family and say, hey, I believe in what you do for the Magic community and I want you to keep doing it. That's what your vote says. So.
Thank you specifically to the people who have become patrons in the past week. I'm going to assume this is a Judge Rob bump.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to call it the Judge Rob bump.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much to Melanie, Christopher, and Kevin.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you all so very, very much for becoming patrons of the show. It really does mean so much to us.
Yes. And if you're already a patron, you want to increase your support, we'll also give you a shout out on the show. So that's another little incentive. Patreon.com/GLHF Magic. Thank you as well to Card Kingdom for being incredible sponsors of our show for many of those 10 years.
Yes.
You can check them out at cardkingdom.com/GLHF. Use our affiliate code to buy whatever you need over there, including Streets of New Capenna.
Oh, what a thing.
You can order it.
You can order it. You can order it, and they will mail it ASAP.
The second it hits the real world.
Yes, which will be this coming Friday.
Yes.
So if you want it shipped as soon as is humanly or robotically possible, I'm going to assume that a robot couldn't do it faster than the people at Card Kingdom, because a robot doesn't care as much as they do. Card Kingdom caring more than robots.
Caring more than robots.
Another great tagline for you.
Slogan.
Card Kingdom, you are welcome.
It's time to talk about the Streets of New Capenna pre-release.
Wow, Maria, you went to a real in-life, in-person pre-release this weekend.
Yes, it was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the first in-person pre-release that I've played since the start of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because everything had been on Arena. So we really didn't have to go out and play in a store. And I'm so happy that Wizards kind of forced our hand here on this one for whatever reason. And we had to go out and play in stores.
Agreed.
But do you remember, like, going to a pre-release? They were always some of my favorite days.
Yes.
Just
they're
period.
so much fun.
Because you have the ritual in the morning of getting up, getting your bag ready, making sure you have your sleeves and your deck box and everything. And by the way,
shout out to sponsor Ultra Pro. Look at this gorgeous boy.
I know, I brought their like premium deck box here with the Planeswalker symbol on it.
Oh, dice tray.
Oof.
Maria, what do I always forget to bring to a pre-release?
Well, you won't forget if it's right in there.
If it's right in here.
Yeah, it was great. By the way, magnetic closure. Anyway, yeah, so like just the ritual of getting everything ready to go in the morning, de-sleeving your old stuff, putting it, it just was so lovely. And then walking into the store, everybody's there to play. Nobody's played with the cards before. Just the exciting feeling of being with everybody again in an event that, nobody knows what's going to happen, right? You're just like, well, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
I might build a hot train wreck and that's okay. Everyone has fun at a pre-release,
Yeah.
It's just a friendly, happy environment. So at the pre-release I went to, they handed out decks randomly.
Okay.
Or family packs, I should say. And I got Cabaretti anyway.
Ooh,
which is the one I wanted.
Lucky you.
So I was like, hey, it's a sign. And each of the pre-release packs included a family deck. So I should say a family bonus pack to help you play the colors of the family pack that you chose. And this is what I've created. I have, if you're watching the video version, my deck laid out here on the table for everybody to see. It's quite powerful.
I want to point out just what's over here on the very top end. Not to skip to, the pinnacle, the cherry on the sundae, but Titan of Industry, not one, but two
of those bad boys.
Of this mythic elemental. This is 4 green.
It's stupid.
For a 7/7 reach trample. When it enters the battlefield, choose 2. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Target player gains 5 life. Create a 4/4 green Rhino Warrior creature token, or put a shield counter on a creature you control.
This card, I felt legitimately bad casting it.
Busted.
That's how busted in half it is.
Yes.
Every time I apologized. I'm a Minnesotan, of course, that's a caveat there. But even if I wasn't, I feel like I would have. Yeah, reach. It has reach. It has trample. It makes you a 4/4. It protects itself or whatever you want.
Yeah. Wow.
Card's stupid.
This card is so good.
So that was my top end, was 2 of those babies.
Yeah.
But I think the other highlight of this deck was the incredible amount of fixing I had.
Oh.
Because I think that was a question I had going in. What will the fixing be like in Streets of New Capenna? Now, of course, we had those bonus packs or whatever. But here I have 3 Cabaretti Courtyards.
Ooh.
2 Racer's Ring, which is the red-green land, which, by the way, you can pay 4 to sacrifice a draw card. Not bad. And I had a Riveteer's Outlook as well.
Yeah. What does a Cabaretti Courtyard do? Remind us of what these do.
So these are
what these do.
These do. Oh, poopy. This so what they do is they immediately get sacrificed when you play them. Boom, they're on the battlefield for 1 hot second. So don't bother with the nice art versions of these ones. You're never going to see them except in your hand. Come to the battlefield, immediately sacrificed. You go find a forest, a mountain, or a plains in the case of the Cabaretti.
Really nice.
Put into play tapped, and you gain a life.
Wow, that's really nice.
It's excellent.
That's great.
So I had the Cabaretti version of that. I had the Riveteurs version of that because if you got 2 out of 3, ain't bad.
No,
you can
not
play.
at all.
And 2 of the Racers rings, like I mentioned. Like I had 0 mana problems. 0.
Yeah.
The only problem I had would be Flutter, Screw it, whatever.
You are solidly 3 colors.
Solid 3 colors. We're not messing around here.
You also have Ginny Faye, Jetmir's second.
Yes, Ginny Faye.
I love Ginny Faye.
Making me kitty cats and dogs. If I have any token come into play, it instead can be a 3/1 dog with vigilance or a 2/2 cat with haste. And she's a 3/3 for 3 mana.
And she's just the best.
She is the best.
She's the best. She looks great. Great poise. Look at her dog and cat. Perfection. Put her in charge.
I love this card. I have also to go with Ginny Faye and to help fix my mana a little bit because my top end is 2, 7 drops.
Yeah.
I have Glittermonger, which is a 1/4 for 4 mana. Tap, create a treasure token.
Wow. So you can create treasures to help get to your top end, or later on you can just be like, tap, make a cat.
Yes.
Tap, make dog.
So I was just making dogs every turn with my Glittermonger in one of my matches.
Absolutely busted.
My poor opponent was like, I'm never beating that. I'm like, yeah, you're correct.
Yeah.
That's impossible to beat unless you kill everything.
Incredible.
Which, speaking of killing everything, something I will say about this format is the number of board wipes.
There are quite a few.
Is significant.
Yes.
There are so many. So just beware. But overall, I'll talk about the deck a little bit more specifics, but overall, I would say like the mana fixing was there.
Yeah.
It was totally fine to play 3 colors. I could have probably played 5, honestly.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to just keep it simple and play 3 this weekend. The power level is extremely high. Because we're in a multicolored format and the multicolored cards give you more of a payoff than monocolored cards, obviously, because it's quote unquote a little harder to cast them. So power level super high. The bombs, extremely bomby.
Yeah.
We talked about Titan of Industry right there.
Woof.
Yikes.
Look at him hug that building.
Is that what he's doing?
He's just gently hugging a building. He's an elemental made of buildings, gently hugging another building.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I went 2-2 with this deck overall for the 4 rounds, and the decks I lost to were both Obscura. If that tells you anything.
Ooh.
Obscura seems to be the consensus as the best crime family around.
Okay.
And I would have to agree with that. Their cards are really, really good. The blue and white flyers that exist are excellent. I played against Dr. Manhattan a couple of times, which is the 5/4 flyer that shrinks your creatures based on the number of CMCs, or excuse me, mana values in your graveyard. There's a 5/5 flyer that has 2 shield counters on it, and when you attack, you can sacrifice something to like make a citizen and draw a card. So dumb.
Youch.
So I did lose the flyers in the end.
Yeah.
But overall, this deck performed really, really well. I will give a couple of shout outs to everybody because this comes out on Arena on Thursday. Early access streamer event today, Tuesday. If you're listening to that day this episode comes out, we'll be streaming on twitch.tv/GLHF Magic. Cards I want you to play. Rafine's Informant.
Okay, what does it do?
This is a 1 and a white for a 2/1 human wizard. When Rafine's Informant enters the battlefield, it connives.
Great. Love it.
Meghan, connive is a fantastic mechanic.
I believe it. I'm so excited.
I mean, it just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You get a loot, and
Draw,
then if you discard a non-land, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on something.
Perfection.
I love connive.
Great.
It's excellent, and this card was great. Now, this is a card everyone was talking about before the event, and they were right. Inspiring Overseer. This is 2 and a white for a 2/1 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, you gain a life and draw a card.
This is like this card keeps existing in Magic recently, and it keeps getting a little better and a little better. And here it is.
Yep.
Like now we've given it flying.
There's nothing else they can do to this version of this card. Otherwise, it's going to cost 4 mana.
You wait.
Yeah, famous last words.
Yeah.
They can never push it ever again. I loved shield counters. I thought they were really, really fun to play with.
Yeah.
They made gameplay interesting, if not annoying at times. I have here a bird. 3 and a white for Swooping Protector, flash flying 2/1. It enters with a shield counter on it.
Oh, so you can get a free Bloxies out of it.
Yeah, free Bloxies. Sometimes you trade these.
Yeah.
Because flyers happen to be, generally smaller. And they're not expecting the Spanish Inquisition,
No.
So that was
They're
a
not
great
expecting
card.
the Spanish Inquisition? Somebody is that like a turn of phrase that I don't know?
You've never heard nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition?
What? Never in my life.
Wow.
You're telling me that this is a saying that exists.
Listeners, please do not unsubscribe from our podcast. We will have an education session with Meghan after this.
What?
It's a famous Monty Python sketch. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
I don't. And I've seen a lot of Monty Python.
This is like me and the fence thing last week.
Yeah, I am bewildered. Which Monty Python is it in?
I don't remember. It's just like it's just like something that exists in the fabric of space and time.
I am completely flummoxed. I cannot believe it.
Okay, yeah,
I'm
Google it.
Keep telling us about this deck.
Great. So the removal I had, of course, in sealed removal is always extremely important. I had Light 'em Up, and I'll talk about that card because it has Casualty on it. So this is 1 in red for a sorcery, Casualty 2. Light 'em Up deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. And this was fabulous because, 2 damage for 2 mana, that's, a fine rate. We've paid that before in Magic a number of times. But the mere fact that I could Casualty something and kill both of their creatures, the flexibility of being able to have that on the card was huge.
Okay, it comes from Flying Circus, which is probably one that I have seen the least.
Sure, yeah.
Wild. All right, sorry, keep going.
Yeah. So I also loved Casualty because nobody's forcing you to Casualty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to do it, go ahead and do it. And sometimes it made for very tricky decisions. Like, do I want to sacrifice, for example, Rafine's Informant? Yes, of course, absolutely. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Kill both of your creatures. Or do I just want to kill one? I love the flexibility of Casualty, and it was very fun to play with, led to interesting decisions.
Nice.
Another mechanic, other new one I want to talk about, let's find a card that I put in my deck specifically with it here. Riveteer's Decoy with Blitz.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about Blitz on this.
Yeah, so this is a 3/1 for 2 mana, but you can blitz it out for 3 and a green. It must be blocked if able.
Mm-hmm.
And Blitz says when your creature dies, if you blitzed it out, you draw a card.
Yeah.
So you have to sacrifice it even if it doesn't die in combat after your blitz.
Yeah.
But
are your kids blitzing out? Know the signs. www.blitzinout.com.
Has your kid paid more mana to exist today? They might be blitzing out.
They might be blitzing out.
Does your kid text Blitz OMG LOL? Find out what it means. So I love Blitz too.
Wow, nice. All hits all day.
Blitz was a hit. I didn't know if I was going to like Blitz because I was like, to be honest with you, it's kind of like, oh, that's a little boring. Like we've seen effects similar to Blitz in the past. No, I think Blitz is so cool. I didn't think I was going to do it because I was like, no, I want a creature. I want my 3/1. But it's so much more relevant than that, particularly late game, because you're just like, no, I'd rather have the card and get in for some chip damage,
Oh, man. Also, look at his shiny gold coat.
It's beautiful.
That's great. Gorgeous.
The other removal in the deck was Kill Shot, which destroyed target attacking creature, which I will say is worse in this format than normal because of shield counters.
Yes.
So please beware. I had Ready to Rumble, which deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. But the best one was Buy Your Silence, which exiles.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah,
in the world of shield counters.
Shield counters are going to be the name of the game when you're thinking about removal in this set. And exile priority number 1. For sure. Yeah, so that one gives them a treasure token, but whatever, who cares? Their creature's exiled. That's the main point.
Is this a trumpet player who's had his mouth taken away?
Wait, is that the trombone player from the other card?
No, it's not a trombone player.
Okay.
I can't tell if it's a taser or a trumpet. Maybe it's both.
Are there tasers in Magic?
I mean, yeah, I think so.
I don't know. Let me look at it. Oh, yeah. That's definitely some kind of horned instrument player whose mouth has been magically transformed into something creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Ew. Mickey the Mouth kept his nickname after he struck his deal with Giorgio? I don't know. Even though he never spoke another word.
Those two names are spelled super differently.
How do you pronounce it? Gregorio?
Let's see. Yeah, Gregorio.
Okay. Yeah, that's the flavor text on that bad boy.
All right. Nice.
But yeah, I had a nice little curve. I had some great top end, some okay removal. Really just okay because it didn't exile.
Yeah.
Let's get real. And some cool combos with Ginny Faye and Glittermonger. I loved this deck. It was such a blast playing Streets of New Capenna, playing a paper pre-release for the first time ever. Highly recommend. Very interested to see.
For the first time ever.
Yeah, for the first time ever, I highly recommend you go play pre-release. I'm so excited to see how this format develops once we get it on Arena and once more people are out in the world playing it, because it was super fun.
I'm very excited to draft it.
Yeah.
I love a 3-color draft, and
Absolutely.
This is very nice.
I mean, do you remember how much we loved Cons of Tarkir?
Yes.
I mean, Tons of Tarkir.
Great.
It was great.
It was so good.
So no pressure, Streets of New Capenna, but that's what you're living up to. We've got Judge Rob back on the show this week. Rob, were you just here?
I was. We had weird deja vu when I came back into the studio today. We were like, wait, is it Dominaria already?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it is not Dominaria
It's not.
already. Thank goodness. We haven't even had Streets of New Capenna on Arena yet.
it's true.
But Rob is here to talk to us about Oathbreaker a little bit, because this is a super sweet format. We played it actually in a video. I'll put the link up on our YouTube and in the show notes if you want to watch us all play some Oathbreaker. It's a really fun format, and we want to talk about some new cards in Streets of New Capenna that you can use in Oathbreaker to make some really sweet decks with. But just in case you're like, what are you talking about, Maria?
Yeah.
I don't even know what Oathbreaker is. Rob's going to tell us.
Yeah. So Oathbreaker it's designed to be fast commander in a lot of ways. It's
Fast Mander, if you
fast
will.
Mander. So it's a 60 card format with a singleton rule like commander. Instead of playing with legendary creatures as your commander, you play with a legendary planeswalker as your commander. Ooh. And you also get a signature spell that goes along with them. So you have 2 cards that start in the command zone. And so it's a legendary planeswalker and an instant or sorcery that's within their colors. And so you play a 60-card deck, and it's very fast. We played 45 minutes?
Yeah, it was a 45-minute game. That's why we like it, because I would say, Megan, the number one thing people say to us is, you should play more Commander.
Yes.
And we're like, look.
We cannot shuffle 100 cards.
100 cards is a lot of cards.
Cannot.
And
Right.
also, Commander games can take
hours.
Forever, right?
And
so if you're like, this is fun, I want to play a fun singleton multiplayer format that doesn't take 3 hours. Oathbreaker.
Yeah. Also, I'm friends with the Rules Committee. The Rules Committee is a different philosophy than the Commander Rules Committee. They ban a lot of fast mana artifacts. So if you dislike Soul Ring in Commander, great. Oathbreaker bans Soul Ring.
Hey, great.
Check out oathbreakermtg.com if you want to get started with the format, learn some rules about it, and find out what's going on. We should talk about some of these sweet Oathbreaker cards from this set. Then.
Yeah, let's do it. Rob, you've chosen.
I like Vivian on the Hunt. So there's 3 planeswalkers in the set. This is the one that I got. She is birthing pod in the command zone, which is incredible.
For people who like that, they really like it.
Yes. So she's green 4. She starts with 4 loyalty as a planeswalker. +2, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, search your library for a creature card with mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrificed creature's mana value. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. So, like actual literal birthing pod.
Yep, exactly.
+1, mill 5 cards, then put any number of creature cards milled this way into your hand.
Sick.
Great. Which is like everything you want out of a +1, really. And -1 is create a 4/4 green Rhino Warrior creature token.
She can do it immediately.
She can immediately, she doesn't have an ultimate. This is just a -1, and it leaves her at 3 loyalty with a pretty beefy blocker. So if you don't know what to do, you can just make a Rhino token.
Megan, how do you feel about Rhino tokens? I know you don't like
Bad
siege
for
rhinos.
bad?
So. Any rhino you don't like.
Do you have experiences in Modern?
Rhinos can bite me.
Well, they will.
I mean, they're herbivores. They'll probably like gore you.
Are they herbivores in the same way that like hippos are herbivores
exactly
and they murder more people than any other animal?
Yeah, they're the top of the herbivore chain. They're designed to survive predators. So yeah,
they really are. Honestly, it's surprising that rhinos aren't more successful globally, considering how well armored they are against predators.
Yep.
What is the rhino's global success rate? Let's talk about that next episode.
We could talk about that. I picked for a signature spell with Vivian, and I'm actually probably going to have this deck together for my Oathbreaker game next week.
Ooh, nice.
I picked Once in Future as my signature spell, which is from Eldraine.
Yeah.
It's green and 3 for an instant. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Put up to 1 other target card from your graveyard on top of your library. Exile Once in Future. which, I mean, you're doing that anyways. The way that signature spells work in Oathbreaker is they go back to the command zone after you play them, and then they cost 2 more, just like a commander does. So Once in Future doesn't really have that drawback.
Nice.
And then Once in Future also has Adamant. If at least 3 green mana was spent to cast the spell, instead return both the cards to your hand that you targeted and exile Once in Future like normal.
And you're playing a mono green deck.
Exactly. Yeah. So that this just is an instant that returns 2 cards to your hand, which is pretty. So with Vivian, her plus that mills you can mill 5 cards, which you get to see extra cards to return with Once in Future.
Wow.
Which I think is pretty exciting.
This seems pretty sick.
It's pretty good. I like this card a lot. Eldraine had a lot of really busted cards all across the rarity spectrum, and this is a sleeper from it. I think.
I mean, it's also one of my favorite named cards as a fan of Arthurian literature.
Oh, there are so many good names from Eldraine, and this name is great. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be putting together for next week for my Oathbreaker.
That's pretty sweet. Megan, who did you choose for your Oathbreaker and your signature spell?
I'm going to pick Obnixilis, the man who draw cards.
Yep.
Shocking.
I'm surprised.
Shocking.
Otherwise known as Obnixilis the Adversary. 1 black red for a legendary planeswalker Nixilis. 3 loyalty, but he does have casualty X. So you can sacrifice a creature with power X, and when you do, you copy this guy. The copy isn't legendary and has starting loyalty equal to the sacrificed creature's power. +1, each opponent loses 2 life unless they discard a card. If you control a demon or devil, you gain 2 life. Hello, yes, each opponent. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
each of you.
Each.
Delightful. -2, create a 1/1 red devil creature token with when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. And -7, hello. Target player draws 7 cards and loses 7 life.
Yikes.
Perfection.
Yes.
Amazing. How many I want.
And you can do that right away if you sacrifice like a 7, right?
Yes, exactly. So,
Immediately.
we can make a big demon boy with this card that Rob taught me about called Promise of Power. 2 black for a sorcery. Choose 1. You draw 5 cards and you lose 5 life. It's going to be really hard for me not to just automatically pick that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to do what you don't want to do because it's right, which is put an XX black demon creature token with flying onto the battlefield, where X is the number of cards in your hand as the token enters the battlefield. It does also have Entwine 4, although that is a boatload of mana.
Yeah, that's a lot
of money.
So yes, like what? I can just like make this demon have a demon for Obnixilis's ability that wants to be meaner to people. If you have demons and devils, I can make a big creature. I can just make a big creature to sacrifice to that casualty ability.
Though you have to have Obnixilis in the battlefield for the casualty to happen.
Yeah. But what if I make this, Obnixilis is here, I make demon, Obnixilis later die, I make Obnixilis again.
It's true.
There we go.
It's true. Like you could also play like big things like Rotting Registrar.
Oh yeah.
Draw 7 cards right away
nice.
with Obnixilis. Ship him immediately.
Also,
and then the next turn, use Promise of Power to make like a 10/10.
Rotting Registrar is...
That's just like a good card to put in Oathbreaker. It is 7
It's
power.
huge, right?
And it's 3 mana.
It's a big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems like a good card to put in Oathbreaker
Yeah,
deck.
you get to play things like Ball Lightning with that too, right?
Yeah.
So you could like, if you have 6 mana, you can Ball Lightning and then Obnixilis and eat it.
Great. Perfect. Just be like, yes, here's my 2 Obnixili.
Yep.
And also, okay, if I like cast my Obnixilis and I casualty him, so I have 2 Obnixilis in play. I allow the genuine Obnixilis to die. Which is what we're going to call the one that's not a copy.
If you're the real Obnixilis, you know the answer to this question.
All right. Which of you is the genuine Obnixilis? Can I, and then have him in the command zone, I can cast him again and have up to 3 Obnixili.
You can have a lot. You can have as many as you want on the battlefield.
What?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep, because the casualty copies aren't legendary. Yeah.
All right. My only goal is to see how many Obnixili I can have on the battlefield.
It's very reasonable.
Well, I chose Elspeth Resplendent as our remaining planeswalker from Streets of New Capenna to be my commander, or my Oathbreaker, if you will. She costs 3 white for 5 loyalty, legendary planeswalker Elspeth. +1, choose up to 1 target creature. Put a +1/+1 counter and a counter from among flying, first strike, lifelink, or vigilance on it.
Ooh.
I love that ability, obviously.
Yep.
-3, look at the top 7 cards of your library. 7 is a lot. You may put a permanent card with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield with a shield counter on it. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And I've got to say, playing with shield counters for the first time.
They were very good.
this past weekend. I loved them.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be annoyed with them, which I certainly was.
I was. My opponents had them a lot, and I was very annoyed.
In a bunch of cases. But I also really liked how they played. It made for some really interesting decisions.
Yeah.
Anyway, -7, create 5/3/3 white angel creature tokens with flying. Yes.
Cute.
Yes, I love creatures. I love buffing my creatures. Rob said the -3 is also build your own boggle, which, hello, I can get on board with that. And it all comes together with her signature spell, which is Damning Verdict, which is from Streets of New Capenna Commander.
Yeah.
Also 3 white for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures. You're like, Maria, what? No, you can't destroy all creatures. Wait, there's more text with no counters on them.
Wow.
Yes.
Also protects your creatures from this in 2 different ways.
I think that's so cool. One-sided board wipe. I'm in favor of that as long as my creatures aren't dying.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Exactly.
The flavor text, guilty as charged.
Delightful.
I think this could be such a fun deck to build an Oathbreaker, trying to do all the things with +1/+1 counters, various types of counters, and also proliferate potentially if that exists in white. I don't actually know.
There's a couple of white proliferates. Like the other counters that she makes, you don't really do a lot if you make 2 of them.
Sure.
But there's a lot of things that like spend counters.
My creature
in
has
white now.
flying twice.
Yeah, double flying. Double flying.
Yeah.
Means it can't block non-flyers. But I really like the -3 because you can find anything with it.
Yeah.
You can find artifacts and enchantments that aren't creatures, which is really weird.
Yeah, it says a permanent card with mana value through a list.
So you're never gonna miss because you'll have a land in your top 7, right?
Yeah.
You can put a little, a little halo with a shield counter on it. What's the one I'm thinking of? Come on, Maria.
What?
With the,
Halo.
Are you thinking of Jesus crown?
Yes.
Jesus hat?
I'm obviously
Daybreak
talking
Coronet?
about
Daybreak
Jesus
Coronet? Yeah,
hat.
you can put
Thank
Daybreak
you.
Coronet directly onto your creature. And it's during the resolution, so they can't like respond to kill your creature either.
I will be doing that. So what cards are legal in Oathbreaker, by the way,
So
Rob?
Oathbreaker is basically all cards from the history of Magic with a fairly extensive ban list.
Okay.
Like I said, it bans fast mana, it bans like the Power 9, it bans a handful of cards for price. It's similar to Commander, but with a bit more restrictive list.
So, Rob, something else that you decided to do was choose some other cool cards from Streets of New Capenna that could work in Oathbreaker.
Yeah, especially New Capenna Commander, but the one that I want to call out for sure is Luxior, Giada's Gift. So this is a 1 mana legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each counter on it. Equipped permanent isn't a planeswalker and is a creature in addition to its other types. Loyalty abilities can still be activated. Equip planeswalker 1, equip 3.
Yeah, so this is going in my deck, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. This goes on your Oathbreaker to make them capable of dealing damage. Now, one of the things that Oathbreaker doesn't have is command damage. Is commander damage.
Right.
So in normal Commander, if you deal 21 points of damage from your commander, you kill them. Oathbreaker, you start at 20 life like a normal game of Magic, so you don't have that is a real out. But realistically, like there's a lot of commanders that are just huge. Or a lot of Oathbreakers that are just huge. They start with 7 counters. Like you have Kiora, Behemoth Beckoner is my favorite Oathbreaker that I have. She starts with 7 loyalty, right?
Nice.
So
It's a nice little 7/7.
Yeah, 7/7 for 3. It's pretty good. So Luxior lets you punch real hard with your Oathbreaker basically all the time in any of those decks.
I like this because when we played our game of Oathbreaker, it was super fun. And it was like another great way to get damage through other than relying on, your draw step or your cards in hand. Because you always have access to your Oathbreaker.
And your Planeswalker just generates a lot of value from that spot. But then Luxior lets you generate the value from it and then also attack other Planeswalkers, which is pretty nice.
It made the top 10 worst cards for our sealed video, but definitely not here.
Yeah, in sealed, it's really questionable, right? Because
Thank you, Rob.
It's going to do +1/+1 or +2/+2.
Probably not.
I don't think it's
great.
necessarily terrible, but your deck has to be doing you probably need to be the white deck with a lot of shield counters or something
You gotta
for
be
it.
the brokers.
And the brokers deck it can make some good use of it, but it doesn't give an inherent bonus. So if your creature is just a random, there's a bunch of 4/4s that get +X/+X or whatever in this set. They're great on their own, but this doesn't do anything for them.
Another card we were like, this isn't good in limited, but it's good in Oathbreaker.
Good in Oathbreaker. Scheming Fence. Yes.
Also taught Maria what a fence is.
Oh my
Exactly.
gosh. Oh, hold on. Okay, so I had never in my life, to my knowledge, heard the term fence before our conversation, right?
Yes.
On the last
in this
episode.
particular context.
And in this context.
In this meaning.
Yes. But for people who don't know, I've been watching Columbo. I've been going through all Columbo, all 16 seasons.
And he's going to talk about fences all the time now, isn't he?
Well, here's the thing. I hadn't actually seen the very first episode of Columbo, which isn't part of the series. It's a made-for-TV movie that they did as a pilot, which is based on the stage play that birthed Columbo. It was birthed by a stage play, everybody.
This is totally news to me. I'm learning things that I really enjoy.
I mean, I highly recommend this episode of television. So this came out. It was the first one ever made based on the stage play called Prescription Murder. If you have Peacock, that's how I watched it. So sorry, but yeah, that's how it has to happen. Peter Falk plays Columbo, and the first time ever, and he's just like so well put together. Like he doesn't have the messy hair or the rumpled coat yet or anything.
Yep.
He's great. Anyway, it is really, really good. It is the best episode of Columbo, I think. It's not even technically an episode of Columbo, but they use the word fence in it mere days after the first time I ever heard it used.
Wow.
Isn't that weird how that happens?
The Beider-Meinhof phenomenon, right?
I don't know.
Wow.
It's when you see something and it calls out to you, then you notice it a bunch.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it
just
was.
Jumps out of the background.
Yeah,
for you.
a character was like, I fenced it, and I was like,
yeah, fenced stolen goods.
Anyway,
anyways,
continue.
we're talking scheming
Watch
fence.
Columbo.
Yes.
We got a lot of information on that episode of Columbo that was not relevant to the story that Maria was telling us.
I just want to talk about Columbo. Let's get real.
Like I said, I'm learning things. Scheming Fence wants to learn things too. He's blue-white for a 2/3 creature human citizen. As Scheming Fence enters the battlefield, you may choose a non-land permanent, so something that's already on the battlefield. Activated abilities of the chosen permanent can't be activated, so it stops their Oathbreaker from using their loyalty abilities. Scheming Fence has all activated abilities of the chosen permanent except for loyalty abilities. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to activate those abilities. So he kills Oathbreakers, but leaves them on the battlefield, so they can't just recast them. They're stuck there.
Ooh,
so they have to figure out how to kill
good.
them, right?
Yeah.
And then nobody's going to attack them because they can't activate their abilities. And then he attacks other people's creatures or other people's planeswalkers and blocks for your Oathbreaker.
That seems very good in this format.
He's really great, and he's got a 2/3 for 2 is not terrible either.
No,
like on top of
solid.
That. He also just randomly bonks other things like good equipment or whatever because he can like Luxior. The last thing, if he picks Luxior, it stops you from equipping it. I guess you're stuck.
Yeah. The next one you chose is Into Deep.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's an aura for blue, split second.
Wow.
So while it's on the stack, your opponent can't activate abilities or cast spells, so they can't counter this.
Counter this spell.
Enchant creature, planeswalker, or clue. What? This is a totally new line of text, and it's so cool. Enchant clue is such a strange type of enchantment to have.
Well, now you know what kind of deck wants to play this.
Right. Well, do you? This goes in any deck. Enchanted permanent is a colorless clue artifact. With 2 mana, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card, and loses all other abilities.
Hey, I'm going to enchant this clue. Now it clue.
Yeah. Now it's a clue.
This is designed for turning your opponent's stuff into clues, which they get to get some value back out of by sacrificing or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just super funny that you get to
you can do it to their planeswalker.
Yeah, you could do it to the Oathbreaker. So it's really good removal for any creatures or planeswalkers. Blue to kill a permanent.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. And split second
it.
means they can't respond to it.
Yeah.
So they can't just sacrifice their creature in response. It's a clue now. They need to go investigate that.
Right? Also, this art.
I love it.
This art is fantastic.
So cool.
This harkens back to all the split second spells in Time Spiral have this sweep of time where it's the past and the present.
Yeah.
And so this is like a person and then their chalk outline.
So cool.
Uh-oh, buddy.
This next one you chose, particularly love.
This is the card I'm most excited from New Capenna in Oathbreaker, which is Lethal Scheme. Black 2 for an instant with Convoke. You can tap your creatures to pay for the mana for this spell. They either pay for colorless or they pay for their color. So if you have a black creature, you can tap it to pay for one of the black pips. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Each creature that convoked Lethal Scheme connives.
Nice.
So
real nice.
Yeah. If this is in your command zone as your signature spell, you can play your Oathbreaker, and then you can cast this using all your creatures to loot for the amount that you
if you have 4 creatures, you can do it 4 times. Connive
you can
4
pay
times.
you can pay all 4 with connive. You draw 4 cards, and they get some amount of random counters sometimes, depending on what you discard.
Amazing.
And you can pay your command tax with this. So as the spell gets more expensive, you get to loot more.
Oh, that's cool.
That's fine.
I like that.
I'm
really
in, right?
spicy.
Wow, this is a really fun, lots of possibilities with this one.
Yeah. And flexible removal is always good. That's one of the things that I like on a signature spell is either something that digs me back into the game or flexible removal to interact with the other stuff. Now that I've got an Oathbreaker down, if you have signature spells that are free, or can be paid with alternative costs like this, you can oftentimes just play your Oathbreaker and then immediately play your signature spell. Yeah. Which is pretty great.
Wow. Well, Rob, thank you so much for showing off these new cool cards from Streets of New Capenna for Oathbreaker and for helping us design some cool planeswalkers and signature spells from this set. I think these would make super fun decks to play.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to have another Oathbreaker game sometime.
I think we might.
We can get these put together.
Yeah, and if you are interested in checking out Oathbreaker, where should you go again, Rob?
Oathbreakermtg.com will take you there. And it'll take a second to redirect, but it's fine. It's a fun page, has all the band list, has all the cool stuff, all the tweets about it are all hanging out there.
Yeah.
Nice.
We recommend it. It's a really fun format.
It's so fun.
Check it out.
You can shuffle it and it doesn't take a lifetime.
It's true.
And you can play with many people.
Yep.
Perfect. Maria.
Yes.
Ultra Pro.
Ultra Pro. I took this Ultra Pro deck box to the pre-release this past weekend because I wanted to be the coolest kid in the store. And spoiler alert, I was.
I've also got, so you have a beautiful Alco flip of theirs, which has like the little embroidered magic symbol on it and a dice tray. If you're like, that's not enough space, I need more space because I'm a space monster. One, don't talk about yourself like that. No, you're not. Two, look at this.
Look at this horse.
Look at this horse.
This alcove box is incredible. You can fit so many cards in this.
Look at this. Look at this dice box in this box.
This is 2 decks you can fit in here.
2 decks.
100
and then,
cards.
A whole, a little, extra space.
You could put your sideboard in there, maybe.
Great. You could put dice in here.
You could put dice in there.
I think it's dice. That's what I'm going to put in here.
Okay.
Because
I'm going to put a snack.
Bring dice. Ooh, what are you going to put? What snack are you going to put in here?
Almonds.
Oh.
A little almond snack.
All right. Make sure none of your cards are allergic.
Yeah, that's true. I could put some little chocolates and make sure they don't melt.
Some M&Ms. Melts in your mouth, not in your deck box.
Yes, there you go, Ultra Pro.
Classic M&M slogan. Or the Ultra Pro slogan.
Both of these super nice products.
Amazing.
You can check them out. You can use our affiliate code GLHF to get 5% off on anything on top of other discounts at ultrapro.com. Use the code GLHF. Get yourself a discount. Get yourself something really nice.
Yeah, I'm
Does
doing
your
this
mom
just
play
because
Magic?
it's such a satisfying sound.
It is. I'll do it on my box too.
The magnetic closure. That sounds like security, baby.
Get your mom a Mother's Day present that she'll actually like and that won't die because it's flowers.
We always give Card Kingdom the best slogans. But now we'll make one for Ultra Pro. Sounds like security, baby. There you go, Ultra Pro. You're welcome.
That's the sound of security. Well, everybody, that's this show of Good Luck High Five. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and watching.
Good time.
Great time. We had Streets of New Capenna pre-release.
I can't wait to get my little fingers on it. I was out of town this past weekend, so I couldn't play in a pre-release. But I am so excited to play online this week.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm so excited to get back to my local game store because we love supporting our local game stores.
Yes, and it was so fabulous. It was just like the greatest day. We're going to play in the early access event, by the way. Streamers are going to be playing Streets of New Capenna on Tuesday.
It's happening right now if you're listening to this on the day it comes out.
Yeah, Tuesday. You can check us out on twitch.tv/GLHF Magic. Give us a follow. That way you'll know when we're live.
Yeah.
And you don't have to check Twitter to find out that information because maybe you quit because somebody bought it.
Just a thing that might have happened.
It might have. I don't know.
If you're like, hey, I don't want to get my Magic news off Twitter anymore because someone bought it. And also, why would you ever want to get your Magic news off Twitter? It's only people complaining. Listen to The Upkeep, our Magic news show that's 10 minutes or less every Monday and gives you all of the Magic news you need, owned by us.
Yes. Nobody will buy it.
Supported by patrons,
even if they're like,
by us.
Here's $43 billion.
Honestly, owned by the people who love Magic.
Yeah.
If you love
Owned by the
Magic,
patrons.
you have a little bit of the upkeep.
Yeah, you can listen to it in podcast form wherever you listen to this. Just search for the upkeep. Or you can check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/goodluckhighfive.
I will say though, if Elon Musk offers to buy the upkeep for $44 billion, I will sell it.
Elon, are you listening?
It turns out that, like, if you're like, Megan, what's the price point of your morals specifically around this one issue? The answer probably comes well before $44 billion.